After that,
and we're good to go.
All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ray with the Real Vino Talk. You're with the Real Vino Podcast right now, and you're in the Vino Hour. And I'm back with my man, C-Dub. C, what's good?
hey, what's going on, people? Episode number 2, Real Vino Hour. This is your boy Chris, ready to get it in for another Happy New Year edition of Real Vino Talk.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So, with the, exit of 2020 and the interest of 2021, like, what have you resolved to do different this year, man?
Do different that I didn't do in 2020?
Yeah.
Man, I probably picked up more what I'm going to do in 2020 versus what I'm not going to do in 2021. Because I just had more time to sit and be myself and can't do all the things that you so-called want to do, what you need to do.
Yeah.
So, and like I said in the last episode, I had the chance not to really be laid off, and my financial situation didn't go dire. So it taught me how to save money. It taught me how to save time, preserve time, spend more time with my family.
Yeah.
I learned more about the small things than I did the big things.
Yeah.
And when it's time to go, go.
Right.
Because you never, like, something is so crazy as a pandemic, you can mess around and lose your hustle, lose your grind, use your imagination.
Right.
That's why we back.
Right.
We spent 2020. We spent the last 4-6 months talking about this.
Yeah.
So 2020 was a bad thing from a pandemic standpoint and things of that nature. But as far as personally, it's a great year for me. So I'm just trying to carry on the same energy until this year.
Right.
I didn't have a bad year, so I'm just trying to keep that same momentum going.
Yeah, I think a lot about what we experience is it's always been the what we've gone through.
Yeah,
It's tested us. It's tried us. It's how we came out of it that's made us the individuals that we are. And COVID-19, the pandemic hitting the way it did, it knocked everybody out of their box. Right?
It depends on what your box is.
Well,
It depends on what your box is.
it hampered your game a little bit.
It hampers you. Yeah.
And it was enough to get your attention.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It was enough to get your attention. So now, here we are. We already know what happened in 2020. Mm-hmm. Now we here are in 2021, getting ready to start a new phase. Got these vaccines rolling out. Mm-hmm. You taking a vaccine?
Can I curse on this show? Of course I'm taking the vaccine.
I mean, there are no FCC rules, just to be clear.
My man Dave.
They do not control podcasts. That's why we never did radio.
My man Dave. But nah, of course, man. If I have a headache, I'm taking aspirin.
Right.
If I have diarrhea, I'm taking something for it. Now all of a sudden
I'm not taking a vaccine because I don't know what's in it. Really?
Exactly.
Real quick, what's in a Pop-Tart? Go.
Exactly. Right.
Because I see you eat Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
What's in a Motrin?
Right.
What's in a Tylenol? Like, if I get a headache,
explain to me the distilling process of alcohol. Go.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't. It's like
it's nothing. So to answer your question, thanks, Dave. My man Dave with the cosign. Yes, I'm taking the vaccine.
So, Dave, there's no doubt you taking it, right?
I mean, let's be clear. I'm not jumping to the front of the line to take it.
Okay.
So like I do. I'm a little hesitant and nervous just about how many corners they cut to get this into production as quickly as they did. They normally want 6 months of data at a minimum. They got 2. And what makes me nervous is who are we hitting up first?
Right.
Our military, our first responders, and hospital staff.
Yes.
So if something goes wrong in that 4 months of data that you didn't get, who are we taking out?
Right.
Our military, our first responders, and our hospital staff.
Yeah, because it's essential who's on.
Seems like a bad plan to me. But I do. I have a couple friends who are nurses who have already gotten it, at least the first dose. They said the reaction is very similar to a flu shot.
Right.
Sore arm, maybe some muscle soreness up to your shoulder, that kind of stuff. She said the weirdest thing is they leave the needle in longer. So it's not a and out. They pop it in, they sit there for about 15, 20 seconds, then they inject it in, sit there for about 15, 20 seconds, then they pull it out. And that's the weird thing. Like if you read into what's required, especially of the Pfizer vaccine,
right?
Like it's got to be in the freezer and like in the deep freeze, and then they take it out and put it in a fridge, and then it's got to thaw, and then you got to use it in the next 5 hours.
Wow!
And the vials have to be the vials have to be rotated exactly 10 times, and not too fast. You can't do 9, you can't do 11. I don't know if you saw there's a pharmacist in Wisconsin that just got arrested because he deliberately spoiled 500 doses.
See,
it's a dirty game. Like, what do you do?
And that's what makes it a dirty game. It's the guy sitting on the product, not taking care of it, right? And then when it's your turn, how do you know you getting what's legit?
Because that's what he said he wanted to do. He wanted to ruin the doses and inject people with the ruined doses to prove that it didn't work.
Right. See. So you had you looking at a whole nother different type of evil.
So what's the alternative? Is mask and quarantine? Never see your family again?
Well,
what's the alternative?
I think that
if you don't take the vaccine,
I
don't have a problem with anybody saying no, I'm not taking it.
Right.
That's fine. But what is your lifestyle going to be like for the rest of your life? Because I don't think coronavirus is going anywhere.
And I think it all determines.
There's no cure for it. I don't think it's going anywhere. So how do you proceed through the rest of your life if you don't take the vaccine?
It all depends on what your fear is. What is your fear?
Your fear may not be personal. You may not want to hug your mom because you may be asymptomatic.
Yeah,
and you may hug your mom. And
hey, when you're injected,
that could be it.
When you're the flu shot. It's not. It's a vaccine too. It's a different type of vaccine. You are injected with a virus to kind of counteract what you're going to potentially go through. But
true.
I think it's what's your fear? Like, are you?
My fear.
Well, this isn't that
harming someone else.
Go ahead, Dave.
So the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are not typical vaccines. So the one from Johnson & Johnson is a weakened virus vaccine, which is why it's only a single shot as opposed to Pfizer and Moderna that are 2 shots. But they are what they call mRNA. And this is the other part of it. This is the first time this science has been used in a vaccine. So, like, normally the whole point behind a shot is it puts like a really weakened strain in your body. The white blood cells go, oh, that's a virus. I'll fight it and we'll remember it.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
What these mRNA vaccines are doing is they're not giving you the virus. What they're doing is they're giving you the protein that's on the receptor, that's on the virus that causes the virus to attach and replicate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why they got it into production so quickly, because you're not replicating the full virus, you're replicating this one little protein. So the theory, which it kind of proved out through the trials, is that it makes your white blood cells recognize that protein, and so when COVID shows up in your system with that protein, it attacks the protein, and by default, then attacks the COVID as well.
Right.
But it's the first time it's been used in a vaccine, which is why it's kind of interesting.
So,
good point.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. So
now, where's your rebuttal?
Well, I don't have a rebuttal. I don't have a rebuttal to it because my thing is what's determining you taking it? Is it just
that's personal.
I think it is personal.
That's personal.
I think that
no, that's not. the FCC can't change my mind on whether I'm gonna take or whoever is not gonna change my mind.
But you know what?
I'm a 2 plus 2 plus. I'm a 2 plus 2 equal 4 type guy. If I got a headache, I'm gonna take some medicine.
The fear behind
so
it is
maybe that's a little too simple, but that's kind of
no. That's not. We're not going to discredit that in any way. It's everyone has a fear.
And I'm going to elaborate on that because I have a little bit more of an educated answer towards it, but that's kind of the bottom line answer.
Right.
My thought process is a little bit more educated.
I think that if it's something that is going to help you, you're going to naturally have the inclination to say, well, yeah, give me the medicine so I can fight this. I mean, there's people that don't take vaccines for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of people that don't give their kids vaccines for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people didn't get flu shots prior to COVID.
Right.
People thought, they always say they're giving you the flu when they pump it and they're making you immune to it because they're giving it to you and all this. Before COVID, people weren't taking certain
but they had a lot of
shots or whatever it could be.
The difference between
so it's really not that new.
Getting a flu shot and getting a vaccine is that they've had time to work on.
Oh yeah, the flu. I mean, the flu shot is the flu shot.
Time.
It's this. It changes every year because the different, the strains mutate and all that stuff. But the science behind it is the same. Right. It is the same basic components. It is the same basic everything. So and I get your point. My issue, like, I'm okay with people that are against vaccines as long as they're coming from a place of intelligence. Mm-hmm. The dolts that have now triggered multiple measles outbreaks. Right. In multiple countries, because you're just an anti-vaxxer, because Jenny McCarthy did a YouTube video that said the vaccines were bad, right. And you don't understand, and she sure as shit doesn't understand the science behind them.
Yeah.
Like that, okay. No, I'm not good with that. Like it, because again, there are people that can't take it, and like so that to me, it's not really a personal choice.
Okay.
To me, it is. There are some things you do, like wearing a mask,
right,
that are not for you. They are for the greater good.
Right.
And so, unless there is a true and valid reason for you not to, you should get a vaccine.
Right.
You should get vaccinated, because the whole point of herd immunity, and this is the challenge they're having. So we have a guy that's an infectious disease expert, and he was one of the guys. I mean, his credentials are ridiculous. He's one of the guys that invented the HIV test. Right. He's got a couple dozen vaccines under his belt from what he's done. He said they're anticipating about a 50, maybe 55% take rate on people that are saying, "Yep, sign me up."
Yeah.
The problem is, to get to herd immunity, you need to be about 75-80%.
Right.
And he said, of that remaining 45 to 50%, you've got 20% that are like real violent about it and just no. And you've got the other 20% that are like kind of like me. Right. Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to sit back and wait and watch. And not, again, I understand the science behind it. I am all in favor of it. My issue is with the testing and the timing and the data. And so, yeah, I'm going to sit back and watch a little bit.
Right.
That's the timing.
The vaccines are bad,
timing,
people.
The timing is the biggest thing for me as well.
But you know what? If you go into your doctor right now and they diagnose you, you have high blood pressure, your cholesterol is high, we're going to start you on this medication. You don't question it not 1 second.
But I think there's a one small factor nobody really talks about.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, there's a difference. Is he telling me, hey, here's this blood pressure medication that's been on the market for 30 years and has helped millions of people, or hey, there's this experimental new therapy that I'd like to try out on you that like 8 people have taken before, and we're still figuring out how it works.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Because there's a fear of the unknown.
All right.
You can't discredit the fear of the unknown.
Can I play devil's advocate?
I don't know how this is going to turn out.
Can I play devil's advocate one second?
Of course. And having the fear of the unknown is a natural.
Understood. I understand it 100%.
That's natural.
I understand.
That's a natural fear.
I understand it 100%.
Go ahead.
But if that doctor prescribes you a medication that's going to fix your cholesterol, that's going to fix your blood pressure, you're going to take it. You're going to take it, and you know what else? Mm-hmm. It's going to damage your liver, your kidneys. It's going to do so much. So my thing is, what's the fear? We're already ingesting things into our system that's damaging our bodies anyway. Yeah. So
every drug commercial you see, the side effects are longer than the symptoms.
We were just talking about that at the house. It's funny when you see a commercial for a specific issue. They talk very slow and deliberate through the first.
Yeah, we're here to help treat your depressive issues. Da 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 da. And then side effects. And then by the way, may cause diarrhea, rectal bleeding.
And you still go take that medicine.
Everything it's got everything that you don't want to have to do with you if you're a cool dude.
Whatever it is, right?
You know what I mean? So I guess at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that if the virus is there, if the virus is out there and it's real, and they keep saying that it's real, and now there's this
new variant.
There's this variant strain, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You're not left with too many options if you that guy that's next in line.
You know the sad reality? And we did it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Like this new mutation. So the back channel conversations, they haven't come out and said anything officially yet, but the back channel conversations it stems from a patient in England that had COVID.
Yeah.
And he was immunosuppressed. He was immunodeficient.
Right.
And so they kept pumping him full of Regeneron and Remdesivir.
Yeah.
And the problem was they didn't hospitalize him. Mm-hmm. So he was still out wandering around with these drugs in his system and the COVID in his system, and they didn't get the dosage right.
Right.
So the COVID kind of like shook it off and got stronger.
Let's see.
And then he went back and they gave him another dose, and it shook it off and got stronger. And the whole time he's out walking around, and it's getting stronger and meaner. And so, now it's 70% more infective. Yeah, it's more virulent. It's more. Right. So we kind of did it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're dumb.
Hey, we gotta go everywhere, and we gotta be anywhere, just because. Mm-hmm. You know, when the UK locked it down, everybody was flying back to their homeland. It was only a matter of time before it got back here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So again, if you out there and you sitting there saying like, "Wow, I don't know if I should take this because I'm worried about side effects, this or that," every medicine that you ingest into your system
has some side.
Is going to have some type of side effect.
It makes you sleepy. I mean, this is the thing. This is the craziest thing. People intentionally take drugs because of the side effects.
Right.
I want to go to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this.
Right.
Like, we intentionally take medicine.
Wait, Viagra was a blood pressure pill.
Yeah.
And then somebody
went, ooh, hey, I'm gonna take it for the side effect.
I can't sleep tonight. Hey, man, you have no idea what's going on right now. I took this pill.
Yeah.
And my wife has never been happy.
Right. Doc, I'm pretty sure I'm not in the control group.
My wife has never been more pleased than me taking this Viagra. And he's right. That was blood medication. That was heart medication. And it provided as a stimulant. It sold billions.
Yeah, it was.
So
you got two positive reactions out of it.
You know my favorite.
If I can get rid of a headache and get a hard on, I'm taking it.
You know my favorite happy accident story. You know Wrigley's chewing gum, right?
Yeah.
So you know that comes from Wrigley's Tire Company. Back in the early 1900s, they were a car tire manufacturer, and the owner noticed that everybody was walking around chewing on bits of rubber, and so he added flavor to it and became a gum company and started making more money off the gum than the tires and shut down the tire factory.
Oh wow!
So there's rubber and gum.
That's how it started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense why it's so.
Again, it's the side effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey. Ain't nobody died from gum.
No.
So
no.
we might live through this vaccine.
Hey, we'll see. You know what? I was watching where they were saying that if they don't get a handle on the virus and how the vaccine is administered, like we could be dealing with this in the fall of 2021.
Honestly, I would say there's no if about that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you look at the nice thing about the guy that we deal with is actually on Biden's transition team.
Yeah.
And he's from here in Ann Arbor, which is really, really cool to see Michigan getting a little play at that level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a couple weeks ago, he laid out, like, the rollout plan for the vaccines. And so, like, right now, the game plan was, first responders, the emergency unit, teams, that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, they're already behind where they were supposed to be because of logistical and transport issues and all that kind of stuff. But so the initial game plan was they were supposed to have that wrapped up by March. And then it was supposed to go to like high risk groups and teachers and those sort of folks from April through July.
Right.
And then it would start getting more commonly available after that, like August moving forward. Okay. But like I said, they're only at, I think the thing I read today said they're only at 20% of where they were supposed to be by now.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
It's gonna be a stretch.
But I mean, the other part of it is that I think you will see, because some of it comes down to personal accountability, and this is one of the things that Fred has hammered into our brain more and more over and over again, is that if you look at the vaccines, both of them, they're at 90 and 95% efficacy, which is great.
Right.
But the reality is that wearing a mask and social distancing and hand washing, like those three, because it's you either have one solution or you have layered solutions.
Right.
That layered solution is actually like 99.8% effective.
Right.
So if everybody would just wear masks, maintain social distance, and wash your hands when you're, every hour whenever you're supposed to, or use sanitizer or whatever, we'd be on the other side of this already.
Now, Dave, excuse my ignorance. That helps prevent from spreading it and catching it.
Correct.
What do we do to resolve it?
So that's where like Remdesivir, Regeneron, those kind of drugs come in. Because I've had quite a few friends that have had it. I've had, unfortunately,
I've had 3 negative tests. I was tested in April. I was tested in twice in November because I was in an environment in November that I wasn't comfortable with.
I went through 4 tests in 3 weeks. I get it.
Yeah, so I got tested twice in the same month in November, but April and twice in November.
See, when I've gone and gotten tested, I tend to go twice. Like I will go at the 5-day mark, and then I will go 2 to 3 days later, just because. I mean, case in point, and. Folks, I know they're easier, but the rapid tests are effectively useless. Please do not do a rapid test. Get the brain tickle, as inconvenient as much as it sucks.
That hurts,
but so here's the reason. So they are at a 40 to 50% failure rate on the rapid tests. Yeah. Either a false positive or a false negative. And I mean, in a great case, I've got a friend of mine who 2 days before Christmas, her husband popped positive, and she went the Saturday after Christmas, so the day after, just to be safe and get tested. They did a rapid test. She was negative. Later that afternoon, she started feeling like absolute crap. Went back the next day, Sunday, got the full PCR test, and of course she's positive. Because I mean, and there's a bunch of different reasons why false negatives and false positives can happen, but it basically boils down to it's a very surface level test in the nose instead of the deep poke. And the surface level test can either give you a false positive if you were around people that had it or have it, and your nose is doing its job, because then it's trapping COVID in your nose and not letting it into your system. But it's there for the rapid test,
really
but it's not in your system. But it shows up there.
So the rapid test is
that's the
blood test?
No, it's a little quick swab in your nose.
Go deeper.
Yeah,
it's as deep.
It's a quick swab in your nostril, not the brain tickle.
So it's 3 different types of tests.
There's a blood test too.
That thing is about this long.
I mean, but there's 3 different types.
And they shove half of it in
I've
your
heard
nose.
about the one that goes like up your nose.
That shit hurts.
I heard it's ridiculous.
It's about this long, and it's like
it's not enjoyable.
You literally, I pull up to the drive.
So which one is more?
They stick it in. I'm in my driver's seat.
That the PCR test with the long Q-tip is the only one that's fully accurate.
That's the one you want to take.
Okay.
So, and blood tests are
It
great.
hurts like hell, though.
Yeah, so I mean, blood tests are great, especially if you're just checking for antibodies.
Yeah.
Because so when I was convinced I had it third week of January through about the second week of February.
Okay.
And you couldn't get tested for it then.
Of 2020?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the timing worked out because we had a couple people on our show that had been at CES in Vegas.
Right.
And looking back, they said it was one of the first super spreader events here. And that was the first week of January. But when I felt, I went through 3 weeks of hell.
Wow.
And I tested negative for the flu. But there was no test for it at the time. Like the only time they were even until March, they weren't even testing for it if you went to the hospital. Yeah. And so I nagged the crap out of my doctor. And he got me the antibody test in April, and sure enough, positive. Yeah. But yeah, I've been through a total of 6 negative tests, and I've always done the PCR test. Yeah. Just because especially with being around people here, I mean, this is basically the only time I'm around people. Other than that, I'm in my basement hermiting away.
Right.
But I mean, but to me, I feel like I owe it to you guys. If I'm going to do it, I'll do it 5 days after exposure. Because that's the first time you're really if you're gonna pop, you'll pop 5 days after. But then I wait, and either on that 7th or 8th day, I do it.
Makes sense.
That makes sense to me.
That makes sense.
And
people stop half.
And you know what? I feel like if you active out in society even now, you should be getting tested.
You should be getting tested.
Dude, it should be like an STD test. If you're out raw dogging, get your ass tested.
Get tested.
If
you go to a party or you at somebody's crib.
If you're out nasal raw dogging, you're out breathing air.
I text you. hey, I text you. I was like, bro, I was around some people.
Yep.
We gotta chill for a minute.
Yeah.
I gotta go get tested.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
No, it's what it is now.
And so, that's because, dude, nobody loves, there is not a person on this planet that wants to be around the corner at Temple Bar,
right,
throwing my arm around Larry Love, who's one of the greatest people on the planet, and hanging out with people and just getting stupid. Nobody wants that more than I do. Not now, but not now, and not until and that's what I was kind of saying is you may see things start to loosen up, as more and more people do get vaccinated, and as and honestly, as better weather hits. Because right now it's cold. Yeah. Not a lot of people that's why I feel for all the bars and restaurants and that kind of stuff. Dude, the fact that back parking lot is packed, every table is full, crazy. And they were telling people 90-minute waits.
That's crazy.
And they were okay. We'll grab a drink and stand out front.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's how desperate people are to get out. Yeah. And that's why more I will say this, these guys are being very adamant, and they are being very on top of shit. No, they're not overpacking it. Yes, they are keeping people spaced out and all that kind of stuff as much as they can. And you're not getting in this building if you're not wearing a mask. Yeah. Which honestly makes me feel better because it's one less thing I have to be a dick about.
Right.
Because I know if you've gotten into here, you walked in wearing a mask.
This is when you go to the airport. Because I went out west. Oh man, I went out west a few months ago. Yeah. And the airport and the plane was packed like there was nothing going on. There was no COVID. There was I'm on this flight and it's booked. It's booked.
Right. I got a friend who just went to New York over Christmas just because she was bored, and flights were ridiculously cheap. And she said even that flight was a little more full than she was happy with. But so here's the sign. This is what you have to look for. When you get on the plane, if it's an old plane that still has the ashtrays and stuff in the seats, you're good. No, you're good.
Are you serious?
You want those planes because when you could smoke on planes, they were designed to bring more air into the plane, and so their filtration systems are better, and their air rotation systems are better than the newer built planes when you couldn't smoke, and so they didn't have to have that higher level. So you want those older planes now.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. I haven't flown since 2017.
Bro, this
2018.
This flight was
2018.
Dave, it was like
no, thank you.
There was no pandemic.
No, thank you. I'm not surprised.
He's like, I'm straight. I'm
not.
Somebody in the back, they got a dog on my way back to the East Coast. Somebody's got a cat. I'm thinking, like,
nah.
This is crazy.
That's not how you travel. Yeah,
this is crazy. But the flight's not supposed to be booked like that.
So and at first when they first opened up, they were different.
Yeah.
Like so when they were like, oh, it's just one person, like it's one person in a row, and we're leaving a row empty between that and nah. And then they went, well, shit. People are stupid and we can make money. All right, full flights again. Woohoo!
Flights again. Hey, it's not I'm sorry.
Because it's the mask thing.
Yeah.
If you put a mask on, it's kind of like you put the mask on, we disregard the social distancing. I think everybody said, if I put a mask on, I ain't got to worry about it.
Everybody on that flight had on a mask. It was just crowded.
But you're fucking right.
Yeah. Well, and it's rough. Like look at schools right now.
I don't want nobody next to me without this.
Bro, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't like somebody next. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like one of those opportunities because just before you get ready to board, when you get ready to check in, they ask you if you want to upgrade your seat. They say you want to upgrade your seat to first class or whatever. I'm thinking like, no, it's gonna be cool. It ain't gonna be nobody on this flight or whatever. I'm thinking, I don't even need to do that. I get on there, man. It's like 1 million people. I'm like,
it's a lunch. It's a sardine box.
It's one or two first class seats open. I could have got them for nothing. Just checking in.
Yeah.
And I passed on it because I'm thinking like, no, this is good. I'm the third person in the middle.
That got to be terrible.
It was horrible, man.
Yeah.
I won't ever do that again. And, a lot of people are afraid of COVID, but they're not showing it, man.
So explain to me why all of the Republicans that hopped on the "it's a hoax" train are the first ones lining up to get the vaccine.
I would say.
Because I'm not gonna lie, that bothers the shit out of me.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I'm not political, but I'll say when you're trying to win a race, you'll cheat, and then when you lose the race, you decide to play fair. And I think,
I'm sorry, I truly believe if the words "it's a hoax" or "it's not serious" ever came out of your mouth, you immediately go to the back of the line.
I think they always knew. I think
Chinese flu or whatever.
I think they always.
I'm not even talking racism. No, I got my own issues with racism.
We're not talking race.
All right,
I'm saying
but denying it's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think the downgrading of it is what I mean.
I think that they didn't think that through when they said that. They didn't think that.
I said it last week.
Dude, one of the guys.
What I'm saying is that they didn't think that it would be over 20 million cases.
Did you see the guy in Virginia?
Almost like 350,000 deaths. They didn't think it was going to be like at that.
Did you see the guy from Virginia?
Which guy?
One of the senators from Virginia, one of the biggest deniers of it all, died over the Christmas holiday from COVID.
I heard about that.
And the one of the guys that's in the runoff in Georgia has now popped positive.
Yeah.
And has to quarantine.
See.
Well, I mean, I don't wish anybody gets
and don't
COVID.
Get me wrong. I was just gonna say.
I just think that if you downplay something,
I don't wish you ill.
You should.
And
everything should happen to.
And I truly, and this kind of gets into like the whole vaccine discussion. Like I truly believe that like part of the issue that has gone on over the course of the past year is that nobody is used to seeing the scientific method play out in real time.
Right.
And the scientific method is here's what we believe, and we are going to test it, and here's what we know.
Right.
Okay, shit, that was wrong. Okay, so now here's what we believe, and now we're going to test it, and here's what we know. And okay, we're half right, and as it turns out, we were 25% right back there. So now here's what we believe. And people aren't used to seeing that play out.
Right.
And I'm okay with that, because part of being a rational adult, I truly is when new information comes into the equation, you change your opinion.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do, because you're not supposed to pretend you know everything. Because none of us know everything. I don't know everything. Nobody does.
Right.
So when new information is presented to you, you evaluate it, and if it then changes the course of your opinion, you move on. That's how. So I'm okay with you denying it in March, when you've got, like nobody really knows what's going on. Yeah. But when you got people in September, October, November that are going, it's not a real thing, it's just skeptical Dave is skeptical.
We have too much information at this point.
I think the nation is still divided on it, because you still have a lot of people that still questioning whether they need to wear a mask.
Dude, I live in
Macomb. Going back to what Dave,
I live in Macomb County.
You were saying about, like, the numbers are there. You don't have over 20 million cases. You don't have almost 350 deaths for nothing. Like, this is nothing to question. If anything, it's something for you to take a measure of protection from.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely correct.
That's why I love, you don't tell anti-mask people that it's to protect them from the virus. You tell anti-mask people that it's to protect them from the surveillance systems in the vaccine and the things from the facial recognition technology, and then they'll wear a mask.
And that makes more sense.
Because stupid people require stupid solutions.
Exactly.
Analytics. Right. We love the analytics.
But no, dude, I live in Macomb County. Like, I live in Clinton Township, and Clinton Township is redder than red. In a lot of different ways. Like, it is a very conservative county. It is on fire with COVID.
We're familiar.
So Detroit. That's why I let the people out there love to make fun of Detroit, and I love fighting with them about it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, it's like, oh, Detroit's dirty. Why is Detroit at 7.7% and Macomb is at 21.3%? Talk to me about dirty. Talk to me about why Detroit hospitals still aren't at capacity, but every hospital ICU in Macomb County is at capacity.
Right.
Do we really want to have this talk?
Some people
don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think a lot of people want to talk numbers. They just want to be able to sit out there.
No, Detroit.
Because they want emotion, not logic.
Detroit is easy.
Right.
That's the easy. That's where a certain
yeah, but L. Brooks Patterson
is easy to go to Detroit.
L. Brooks Patterson is dead. Let's just let that die.
Yeah, it's easy to say.
But it is the easy target.
It's easy to say, oh, it's the city. It's Detroit. That's just easy out. But we all knew that. I said that in April. Yeah. In April of
the city of Detroit.
I said we need to shut this thing down, get a vaccine, and move accordingly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you gotta be.
We have to shut down completely. Right. This up and down game we're
playing. The word you're looking for is half-assing
it. Here's the thing.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're gonna be open.
Well,
we're not gonna be open.
It's closed.
You can't be an up and arm.
But you can go to the grocery store. But you can go to the gas station, and you eat, but you can't eat inside. Well, but you can eat inside, but it's got to be inside outside.
Which and is then my thing, because
what is it going to be?
You can't say
my DoorDash bill is way too high. We need to figure something out, right?
Hey, right.
You know what I mean? Spending $100.
And at the end of the day, like, you can't complain about wanting to be done with this COVID-19 and get on to start living your best life and doing all this other stuff, and then right when there's a vaccine for you to take, you don't take it.
Dude, and that's the part. Like, my frustration.
That's my thing.
Dude, I feel like I'm back in grade school, and I'm being good, but I can't go outside for recess because those three jackasses in the back row won't stop acting up, and now we're all punished. Because that's really where we are. Because study after study after study has shown, if everyone would just wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. Yeah. 3 weeks.
Right.
3 weeks is literally all it would take for it to just be done. Yeah. We can't do that.
Right.
As it's like, why? Because It's the United States of America.
Right.
We can't do that because I think the word I want to say is selfishness, because the people that making the laws don't want to stay in the house.
Right.
See, I don't even know that I would call it's not. It is entitlement. I think is I deserve
they don't want to be home either.
to live my
But
life.
we got this.
So they're saying, "Oh, we gotta let them out because we have to leave.
There's this big.
You gotta walk your dog. You gotta mow your lawn. You gotta go to the park.
And
you gotta
fine.
do this. You gotta do that.
But
So
wear your mask, socially distant.
Yeah.
What? And that's the thing. If you you can either go like the full hard lockdown like New Zealand did or Australia did, where they
went all the way in,
dude. If you left your house, that was a $10,000 fine.
Wow.
Like they did not mess around.
Dead real.
Because
Dead
they got worse than we did.
Yeah.
Proportionally. Right. And so, or you just, hey, you know what? Live your life. Right. But the trade-off for that is you got to wear your mask. Yeah. You got to and it kills me. Like, I haven't been in a grocery store since February.
Really?
Dude, I've been using Shipt and Instacart.
Wow.
And
Instacart is dope.
Dude, and I love
Instacart.
I
haven't been in a grocery store since February.
Nope. Dude, and I love my conversations with them because like I'll get hit up with like they're like, hey, I'm getting ready to start your order. I'll let you know if anything's out. And the first thing I reply, I'm like, hey, look, I get it. It's people are stupid. People are lunatics. I ain't mad at you. It's not your fault. It's the store or the people if they don't have stock. I'm good. Like I am not a brand whore. Find me something close. I'm good. And every time I get back, can I always shop for you? Like there's a lot of Karens on there's a lot
but you know what? I'm not tripping on it because it's like, wow, you shopping for groceries from your crib? It's like, why isn't everybody doing that?
I have friends that tell me all the time. Yeah,
I've done it a couple times. I'm like, oh, this is bomb.
Oh yeah, no, dude, I'm not setting foot inside a store if I don't have to.
Right.
My thing is this though: if we can set these parameters now because of a pandemic, and the only reason these parameters are set, let's keep this. The real thing is, we got to keep the economy going.
Yeah. Well,
That's why they don't want to close. They don't want to close because we got to keep Americans spending the money.
Okay, but counterpoint.
That's not true.
No, it is true. But the counterpoint to that is okay.
Keep spending money.
So you have Canada that's paying every single one of its citizens $2,000 a month to stay home. You've got all the European nations that are paying their people $1,800 to $2,400, the equivalent, to stay home.
I've seen that. I've read that. Yeah.
Why can't we do that?
We're doing it. We're just not giving the.
No, we're not.
We don't.
We're not.
We're not doing it on the same level.
We don't want.
They're throwing us pennies.
Yeah, I was gonna say because we're at what, 1,800 over 9 months. I think it's like for $1.64 a day, you too could sponsor an American.
Right. But we're doing it on a small scale.
Like Canada and all those
maybe
other places.
Maybe that has something to do with the administration.
There's a couple of other places out there too paying people big money to stay at home.
And that's the thing. I'm sorry. Fine, dude, take a couple trillion out of the defense budget and pay people to stay the hell home.
Yeah.
And make this go away.
Right.
Let's
that's when I get pissed.
No, but I can't. But I feel him on that.
Okay, but so if we
fact that
we drone bomb a few less, but we drone bomb a few less places.
Right.
No,
there it is.
Everybody don't need to make the same money I make. That's real. Now you can give stimulus. I don't know how much Dave make. I don't know how much you make. But nobody deserves, because of this, you should make what I make when you wasn't prior to that.
I think
we have to make this thing make sense a little bit more.
Canada, dude.
You can't give everybody the same money.
No, Canada,
man.
Switzerland, all those countries did that.
No,
it was a sliding scale.
I think that
you can't give everybody the same bread, bro.
Okay, I'm riding with you 100% on the effort tip.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that if an American family can get $200,000 versus $6,000, that's $600.
Yeah.
Rather, you can get 2 G's.
Yeah.
Versus six bills.
Mm-hmm.
That's a totally different dynamic.
Well, because let's be honest. What does $600 do for your typical American family?
See, nothing. What would $600 do for you?
Like that?
Nothing.
That ain't even going to cover somebody's rent.
It's not.
That it sure ain't. It's not covering your. It's not covering your mortgage on a house.
No,
nothing.
It's, dude. I know what I spend on groceries. That's a couple. That's 2, maybe 3 weeks of groceries.
That's what I'm saying.
Depending on how crazy my kids are.
It's a bigger issue than the dollar amount is the lesser issue to me, because I don't think a person that makes if you're educated.
No, and they did. Like I said, all those countries did do it on a sliding scale. Like the max was like US, $2,000.
Yeah,
and it was because I think it was designed to be, depending on the country, 90 to 100% of your income up to $2,000. So like if you were only
$10 an hour,
yeah.
If you make $10 an hour, and you make $30 an hour, y'all don't deserve the same stimulus, man.
No, I understand.
It's like the unemployment, the max is the max.
But here's the thing:
if you just give people what they make, you don't need a stimulus.
Right.
They just give me what I make.
But so I guess I look at it from
I don't need a stimulus check if I just get what I make.
So now I look at it from an operations and logistics perspective. Like, how do you then verify what everybody makes? Because now you've got W-2 employees, you got 1099 employees, you've got people that get paid under the table on shit. You got, but how are you going to verify it?
Dave, they know they know how much money we make, man.
Oh, but that's why I've always said
that's why you couldn't get the stimulus without taxes.
But if
you know how much money you
know how much money I make, why do I have to do the math? Why don't you just send me a bill?
Right. Yeah.
I say
I just feel like
give everybody $1,000.
You're not. I feel like.
But here's the thing, especially when you're only talking about $2,000.
Because you give it.
How bad? Like what is the worst possible outcome of giving somebody who makes $10 an hour $2,000 a month? Like what's the worst thing that happens?
And you take it to they presented it in April and took it away in July. They only got it for 3-4 months.
I'm just.
Oh no, dude! I'm not talking about the PUA. I'm not talking about I'm talking about like if you just did. You know what? Everybody, stay your ass at home, and we're giving everybody $2,000 a month. What is the worst thing that happens if you give fast food Johnny at the drive-thru? What's the worst thing that happens if you give him $2,000 a month to stay home?
Nothing.
Then why not? If it brings this to a close quicker, well, exactly. So then, but your point, but you were coming at it from a different place.
Right.
That fast food Johnny shouldn't get what I get. But then, well, what does it matter?
I'm saying when I'm saying that from a perspective of they're complaining about it.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Oh, you got Mitch McConnell's house being vandalized, and you got all that.
If you're complaining about the money. Honestly, just give everybody what they make from their job.
At the end of the day,
they've been surviving without a stimulus. So just give them what they make.
At the end of the day.
Now, how do you add that up?
Well, I was gonna say, because dude, this is Detroit. Everybody got a side hustle, if not 2.
You know what? Right.
I ain't saying that. Dave said it.
Right.
I didn't say that. That was him. No.
But what I'll say is that at the end of the day, it's about preserving peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you give a guy that has 8 kids and a wife $600, that might be enough to feed them for almost 2 weeks.
That's it.
You pay them. You pay the nation to keep them calm. You pay the nation to keep them right, so that they don't have to go out here and do the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you hold back from them in any kind of way, there's going to be repercussions. Like a guy that's out here that lost his job, he was probably working at a Coney Island. Mm-hmm. Dude, fresh out the joint. Mm-hmm. He got a spot. Everything's going good. Boom. Then this happened. Now he's out of a job, and then you talking about giving him $600.
Get that guy $600.
This guy is not.
Just don't
get
a guy that makes $20 an hour $600.
But what I'm saying is that
if you them the money,
if you level
don't give it to the people that already
just
don't need
level
it.
the playing field. Just level the playing.
Well,
field.
and I do. I think that's what he's saying at the end of the day is give people what they were making and be done with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I look at it from an operations perspective, and I just see that being a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it doesn't make sense. It's just my thought.
It does make sense.
Okay,
it does. I just don't know how it's practically implemented.
How do you
At the end of the day,
how do you do it?
At the end of the day, the greatest nation in history, they print money. You print money, you able to do whatever you want to do with it. Yeah. What does it matter if he got $2,000 or $600? Just give him the $2,000.
What I'm telling you,
have
my point is that if I make, I'm not gonna throw numbers out, but if you're well taken care, you okay, I'm okay. Give that $600 to the people that don't make a certain amount of money.
Okay.
Don't give it to every single person. Give it to people that makes under a certain. They did it with the if you have a family of 4, if you make over 100,000, if you make with the stimulus.
Yep.
They did it with that.
And I just feel like
that with unemployment.
I feel like $600 is smacking.
But
I feel like
why you can't do the stimulus like you do unemployment?
but
$600 after doing nothing for 9 months is a smack in the face because someone did the math, and each one of those jackass senators sat there and made because the money's out there. Those guys made $130,000 a piece to do shit for 6 months for the American public, and then give people $600.
Dave,
that's what I'm saying.
And what I'm saying is that I understand. What I'm saying is that I get exactly.
Everybody
what you're
don't
saying.
deserve it.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
All right, but at the end of the day, it's still some people out here that do deserve more than what they're trying to come up with to give you, and they're gonna take that $600.
And I'm in total agreement.
They're gonna take that $600.
Yeah.
But you know what?
But
man, if you can play,
all I'm saying is they don't need to give it to you. They don't need to.
If you can pay a guy $200 million to dribble,
if you can
pay a guy $200 million to dribble a basketball, you can't tell me you can't come up with no more than $600. You can't tell me that, man. And I don't.
I agree.
I don't like it.
I agree.
I don't like it.
I agree. And I think that's who the stimulus should be based around. The stimulus should be based around your annual income. The unemployment.
It should be based around the working man that's working. That has a family, see? Come on, man. You would not want that guy that has to. We don't even know about that guy. We know he exists, but we don't even know that he out here with 3 babies trying to take care of a wife on $600 It's not right. It's not fair.
Well, and I think
no. If he's doing it for the extra $600, it is fair.
Well, but
it is fair.
Well, but it's the
if he's getting an extra $6.
How you figure?
If it's there's a difference between an extra $6 and an in lieu of $6. Because if he's lost his job,
he's getting unemployment and he's getting an extra $600. And that's only a percentage of what you make anyway.
So that's the thing. So then you've got an unemployment, which is only a percentage of what you make. And then you've got, again, 9 months of nothing. And so realistically, so you got 9 months, $600 over 9 months. Quick math, that's what, $65 a month? Like what so forget what can you do with forget what can you do with 600. What can you do with $65 a month? What is that? Like a half a bar tab one night a month?
I mean,
that's not even half. That's not even half.
It's not as whack.
See, I go to little dive bars in Hamtramck. That's
still. I mean, even on a good night, you want to spend more than $65.
Or a couple bottles to bring home, or a bottle to bring home. Yeah. I mean, that's I said. So that's a bottle a month.
We have to figure out a way to separate the fortunate from the disunfortunate, or the less unfortunate. We have to give to people that have less.
Yeah.
Okay, but as a society, we've proven we don't like to do that.
And my only point is, when you give everybody the same, everybody is not the same. So everybody doesn't need this. You say obviously everybody $600.
Right.
Well, everybody don't need it.
But
give it to the McDonald's.
If you want to
cut these drive-thrus off.
If you want
to, but we have to keep the economy boosted. So we're trying to figure out like how do we keep this open? But then at the same time, how do we pay people? And then people getting laid off. So it's.
And the only thing I'm saying is that is $600 enough
for nobody? No.
It's not enough, man.
No,
it's not enough. And
shut my job down. Yeah. Employers should have a stimulus package. Employers should say, "Well, we're not gonna lay you off. We're gonna put you on a paid leave."
So, and that's the struggle that I'm looking for right now. Is so all of the stuff that Whitmer just came out with the funding that is supposed to go directly to like restaurants, bars, entertainment venues, and that kind of stuff that have shut down. Yeah. Like those are the people that I know that are dude. I got so many bartender friends that were making.
Get them that money,
dude. They were those guys were making $600, $1,000 a week where they were working.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're at nothing.
Yeah.
So they went from $600 to $1,000 a week to zero. A $600 check. The only thing, dude, thank God, which sounds funny to say because he waited just to be a jag, but that bill got signed that extended the rent eviction moratorium.
Yeah.
Like, dude, $600 ain't catching you up on your rent.
Right.
$600 ain't catching, but and like to me, like that's
if you live decent, you're paying.
And that's why I'm saying that if you're gonna give them a stimulus, you make it worthwhile. You make it for the guy. Yeah, there are going to be some people that
there will
really
always
don't.
There will always be people that abuse the system. Always, always.
There are some legitimate families out there that's just like.
But you don't,
bro. $600 ain't enough.
But as decent human beings, you don't legislate for that.
Right.
You do not legislate for the people that abuse the system. You legislate for the people that actually need
exactly.
And you just
and that's where I'm coming from. With that.
My thing is, I'm coming from where it's hard to determine who needs $600. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, the guy that Burger King ain't closing, like,
but
the places that
but so here's the trick: Burger King ain't closing, but they're running with just their manager and assistant manager,
right?
Because that's all they need, and they're on salary.
Yep. So pay them $15
an
hour.
No, but they're on salary, and so they got rid of all the hourly workers.
Yep.
That's who's out of a job.
Yep.
A lot of bars and restaurants.
They're the ones who get the stimulus.
So, but a lot of and that's what a lot of bars and restaurants have done. Yeah, we got rid of our bartenders or restaurants. We got rid of all of our line. It's the owner, dude. Not to be throw myself on the sword, dude. I'm the guy that owns this place.
All love.
My engineers aren't back to work yet, but
they the ones that deserve the money.
Exactly, and to me, it's not because. And I mean, in this case, it's actually not because of finances. It's because, I couldn't live with myself if one of them got sick like that. But there are a lot of cutthroat people out there that have laid all their staff off.
The 600. The 600.
You're ruining families, man.
You giving a guy $600. It's
nothing.
It's nothing. Enough.
It's nothing. Strip club
enough,
money,
man.
I've blown that at strip clubs. It's nothing.
You can blow through that in like a couple seconds. Yeah. It's nothing. But the guy that's got a wife and kids at the house, and he used to have an okay job that paid him to get him through everything that he needed to get through. That job's not there no more.
Well, but and this is where it gets dicey because then you start talking about where's the money going and all that fun stuff. You know who had the best 2 quarters at the start of this year after the first round of stimulus and the PUA and all that stuff happened?
Who's that?
Foot Locker. A lot of sneakers got bought.
I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
I buy mine offline, so I don't know.
That is like. You know what? That's how you want to spend your money. That's how you want to spend your money.
Oh, and like I said, and dude, there's no judging whatsoever. Like I love. There was a meme that was floating around today that I absolutely loved that said, "Why is it that people want to tell poor people how to spend their money. But when it comes to telling rich people that they need to be taxed, it's, oh, well, no, but that's their money. Okay, well, but then why isn't that their money? What?
It goes both ways, man. It goes both ways.
A lot of the younger demographic, they gonna get that money. They gonna spend it at the sneaker shop.
Oh, my only thing is, if a man makes $800 a week and he loses his job, and you have to pay him unemployment, give that man $800 a week.
Right.
Don't give him $300.
Yeah, what is it? $328, I think, is the max from what I've read. Yeah,
they're like $364. If I make $700 a week, just give me $700 a week.
Right.
Don't give me $360 plus $600.
Right.
I don't need that.
Oh, yeah, because again,
no, just give.
Don't legislate for the outliers. People will just stay on unemployment the whole time.
Right.
Dude, they won't.
I don't want that.
No, because dude, I've
been living off what
But
I've been making.
that's up to the government to put that in place where it's like, you know what? Okay, yeah, you out of work.
Like, that don't make sense.
You in a bad way. We got you, but we gonna help you find other employment. You have to work to get unemployment.
Only people that should get stimulus.
You cannot get.
Only people that should get stimulus is the people that don't make the minimum of unemployment.
Right. Well.
Period. If you make more than the minimum, just give me my check. Yeah. If I make $500 a week, give me $500 a week.
Right.
If I make less than $364, give me a stimulus.
Right. Right.
That's my only it.
But
that's it.
Somewhere up, on an upper tier, somebody decided that $600 was enough for us, for you, for whoever that's out here struggling to get by on what they need to have happen. And it's not enough. It's not.
I'll be devil's advocate.
I'm going to tell you something. It's not going to get any greener going forward. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because each political party is in disarray.
Mm-hmm.
They're in disarray. And they have a guy that's on his way out talking a lot of stuff. They got a guy that's on his way in.
Talking a lot of
they
stuff.
got a guy that's on his way in, not saying enough. He not saying enough, bro. He not saying enough. He not saying what.
You know what? I'm
what
okay
you
with
have.
That.
What you have is this guy that's making all the noise.
I'm with Dave.
You got this guy that's making all the noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for some quiet.
So that's the thing, dude. We need a rational, functioning adult right now. Like that's what we need more than anything else.
For some silence.
Yeah, we need.
This dude been talking for 4 years, man. He ain't shut up at all.
He's not done though.
He's gonna have to be done.
But he's not done now. Where anybody else would have accepted the victory, would have accepted the defeat.
After the inauguration,
he could
not say anything. No.
He could not accept it.
Just give it a few weeks after the inauguration. He can't say anything. You know what I mean? But
I mean, I get it and I understand it, man.
I'm
not trying to.
Ain't nobody
They're planning a rally. He's planning a rally on that day.
Yeah,
it's gonna be, because it'll be.
Gonna do?
Who knows?
Enough,
dude.
He's got the nation divided.
That's the thing. Like, where are the violent protests happening? It's really not at the Black Lives Matter protests.
No,
it's not.
No,
it's at those. It's the angry white people. That's
bro. Let me tell you something. We haven't seen anything yet, man.
Dude, Trump's last, and so this is why they were saying in D.C., that's why they're concerned, because his last rally saw 40, I want to make sure it was either 42 or 44 stabbings. There were a number of illegal weapons confiscated. And yeah, I mean, you got a lot of, like I said, it's my whole thing is, look, I get it. Just because you supported Trump doesn't mean that you're a misogynist, doesn't mean that you're a racist, doesn't mean that you're bigoted, but it does mean that you decided those weren't deal breakers for you.
Right.
And that's always been my thing.
If like I said, I live my life 2 + 2. If 2 + 2 is not 4, I don't fuck with it. if you mess with Trump, you don't agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
That don't make you racist. That just make our political views different. It doesn't. You're not a racist because you promote. You could just really just be a Republican
again, and
you just be a Republican,
and that again, that might be true. But like I said, you decided that are racist as the head of your party, because let there be no ifs, ands, or buts. Trump's racist as shit. Let there be no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You decided that wasn't a deal breaker for you,
right?
And that's my issue. Like, and I've had this like there are people who I have loved and respected and had great friendships for a long time that have broken down over the last 2 years in particular, because I literally cannot wrap my head around how you don't vote and support for people that hurt the ones you love. Like that's my issue. Like it's and I think that's part of it, because I think, to your point, we are a nation of a lot of single party voters. Mm-hmm. I believe in this one thing that guy said he's going to do. Yeah. Cool. Right. I'll ignore everything else.
Right.
Like the evangelicals. Oh, he's anti-abortion. Okay, well, let's ignore the fact that he's been divorced twice, that he's got a mail-order bride, that he's got 17 lawsuits for sexual assault. Yeah, that he's got all these lawsuits for rape and sexual assault. Right. We'll ignore all that
because of one thing.
Because he's against abortion. Right. And that's
the
part that kills me about people.
Yeah, man. It's absolutely right.
But I get you.
So that's my whole thing with Trump. Is like, my thing with Trump is more is like, yeah, he's racist. But nobody's ever said anything good about this dude ever. Like in the 80s and the 90s.
No.
Like, nobody's ever said anything good about him. So, like, why are we shocked now?
Well,
like,
I've never been shocked.
Like what are we?
I think he's been shocked. Like I go back to like during the election process back in 2016 or 2015. Yeah. Like I remember looking at the debates and telling people, I'm like, watch his face. Like every press conference, every debate, you could almost see his face go, well, I'm gonna say some outlandish shit and see what happens. And then he said some outlandish shit and nobody batted an eye, and he was like, all right, well, the next time I'm gonna
keep it going.
How am I gonna up that one?
Hey man, that's your boy. Nah, I'm messing with you.
No, I mean, I'm not on that bandwagon in any kind of way. I'm just saying that this guy has a way of manipulating the nation, and is he past his term? Absolutely, but he still finds a way to remain relevant by saying something crazy in a tweet. Yeah. He still finds his way to remain relevant and
up in the game on federal executions.
How do you this guy is determined to tear his party apart. He is
if that's the end all be all, then
I am. I hope. I truly do. I hope as a nation, once he's gone, this shit will settle down.
Yeah.
It's my hope, but I'm an optimist. The realist in me says probably not. Like I truly believe we have three parties now.
Right.
We have Democrats, we have Republicans, and we have Trumpers.
That's it.
We do.
That makes sense.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, look, man, this has been real.
Real Vino Talk, episode number
Vino
2 came through.
Has been real.
My man Dave, I appreciate you for joining in, man.
No, of course. I like you guys. These are always good chats.
Absolutely. And we look forward in 2021 doing more business, more conversation,
And one last thing. Episode 3, we will get back to that last question that was asked on episode 1. But we had to bring the new year in with something different. So we'll delve back into what we normally get into next week. And we thank everybody for tuning in.
Absolutely.
My man Ray and Dave, appreciate y'all guys, man.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
It's a wrap.